We already thought the Venezuelan production was going to be down 300,000 to 500,000 barrels, even without sanctions. So if you bring in these type of punitive measures, we're going to see this production roll that much faster. The key question is, does the Trump administration really want to take that many additional barrels off the market? Under consideration had also been banning Venezuelan oil into the United States. About 500,000 barrels a day come into the United States. That's a key measure under consideration. Whether we ban the sale of diluents to Venezuela to help them blend the crude, any of these measures would make it much harder for them to get the oil out of the ground.
Yeah, what you said there, the last part about the diluents, I mean, listen, it's technical, it's commodity-based, it's a little bit wonky, but it's important. We sell them stuff that effectively helps refine their oil because it is
right.
The type of oil they have is very thick. If we cut that off, is their production, I don't want to say going to zero, but going, I mean, way down?
Right. It's going to slide so sharply, so fast. I mean, they can obtain diluents, but at a much higher cost. I mean, Venezuela is a country that had $42 billion in foreign reserves just a few years ago. They now only have $8 billion in foreign reserves. They are $9 billion behind in debt payments. This is a country that is running out of money quickly. But what is key to keep in mind when we talk about the international community, the Russians have lent them $10 billion by some reports in the last couple of years. China has lent them upwards to $63 billion. Those are the countries that potentially provide the lifeline for Nicolas Maduro going forward.
But the only way that those debts can be repaid, as well as paying back the one bond they have, a 2020 bond for PDVSA, is the Citgo oil revenues. If the U.S., we don't know if it's even legal. We don't even know if it's legal, Helima, that the U.S. government could say, we order you, Citgo, to divert your money to the new administration, or how they would do it. If we try to do it, and if we can succeed in doing that, that bond won't go paid. The Russians won't get paid. The Chinese won't get paid. So what happens then?
I mean, we're in totally uncharted territories if they do a maneuver like that. Again, something like an import ban, I think, would actually be easier to carry off. But the key thing to watch is when you bring up the bonds, they came very close to defaulting in the last couple years on their PDVSA bonds. It was Rosneft, the Russian oil company, that came in at the 11th hour with billions of dollars that allowed them to pay those debts. And the Russians apparently have been sending more of their own military trainers to Venezuela. They have secured significant acreage in Venezuela in return for those loans. So I do think it's going to be very important to watch how much of a financial lifeline do the Russians provide Maduro. This has become effectively a Russian satellite in our hemisphere.
Why would the Russians give the Maduro administration any more money when they're not sure they're going to get paid back, and that land isn't going to have much value? If the new administration succeeds in winning the government, they may override those claims.
Well, that becomes the really important question for the Russians, because the Russians have made a significant investment in the Maduro regime, in the generals that are backing Maduro. Do they want to forfeit that acreage? So I do think it's going to be an interesting question of how much do the Russians believe that they can keep some form of military government in power in Venezuela? Could they basically say, Maduro, you're gone, and have somebody else from the military take over? I think the Russians will be looking for Plan B and Plan C to protect their economic and strategic interests in the region.